What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nerds of UVM. I am your host, David. I'm joined by my friend Luke.
What's up, guys?
You did a shirt change. You changed your shirt.
Yeah, I'm doing a thing.
That's
every outfit's different.
Okay, all right. I'm also joined by my friend Noah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And I'm joined by my friend Bob.
Hello.
For those of you who don't know what the show is, it's basically a bunch of us who attend UVM. What we do is we talk about stuff around a table, and it's usually nerd stuff, and each one of us brings a different topic each episode, so we're just going to get into that right now. Noah, it's your episode.
Right.
Your final episode that you get to present a topic.
Sabbatical.
Thank God. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to miss you now. What is your topic, my friend?
So, this over the summer, in August, the Defenders came out. It's about time we addressed it.
About time. About time. The masses were demanding it. Where's this injustice? We haven't confronted it yet.
Justice is a whole nother thing. That's DC. We're talking Marvel here.
Yeah. I think you meant like the actual
I know.
version of injustice.
Alright,
like
so
actual,
tell us why Defenders sucks.
I hadn't even gotten to the fact that it sucked. I wouldn't say it sucked. It just didn't grab me. Like, I was not feeling it. Did not have the culmination, the everything coming together.
I'm in the same boat.
Like,
nope, disagree with you already.
I also agree with them, so it's all against you.
All right, everybody. Say your piece, everybody.
Well, I don't know. I just didn't see a lot of development between them. I liked certain things. Like, I liked the Luke Cage and Iron Fist's kind of dynamic, because that's that sort of, I call it the Heroes for Hire. I liked I kind of liked the Daredevil Elektra character arc. I liked how they developed that and how they ended that. And I also, things I didn't like. I didn't like that Daredevil took sort of a backseat position in the Defenders. Like I thought based on his character.
If I can just make a note, like his character and his actions were like the driving force of conflict between the team.
Not really. It was more like
his relationship to Elektra was like and like his relationship to Stick.
To do it, pulling shenanigans and like, oh, I have to be out in the fight. And then Iron Fist did cause a lot of it in team fighting, I think. And he sort of took point.
Before you continue, is this
like
a spoilers thing?
Yeah.
Spoilers!
Alright, spoilers. Continue. Sorry.
And he took more of a lead role in it, and I thought Matt Murdock, Daredevil, would have been a better fit for that. I liked and I didn't see much like character development necessarily in I guess Jessica Jones a little bit, and not really in Luke Cage. Didn't see too much of that.
Yeah, he was more or less the same at the beginning and the end of the show.
I mean, we had a conversation about this on the bus not too long ago when school first started up. I met you on the bus, and you're like, "Hey, how'd you like Defenders?"
I do remember this conversation.
I'm going to touch on just a quick point, some of those main points. I'm glad they all didn't meet up in the first episode. I'm glad they started meeting up in pairs by the end of the second episode. Yeah. I thought that was great. I enjoyed the show up until the Chinese restaurant when they were doing the hideout.
Really?
I thought I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought, okay, this is trying to build up steam to go somewhere. Yeah. I thought up until the Chinese food restaurant, the fights were a lot better than they were in Iron Fist. But I thought after that, they just went sloppy. The whole Elektra Iron Fist fight, where she tricks him with the size, I thought was okay, but the fight, he's not a good fighter. You can't train the guy from Iron Thrones, Game of Thrones, Iron Thrones. Yeah. Oh my God.
Finn Jones.
Why'd I do that?
Finn Jones.
Yeah.
To be a Wushu master. You can't.
And he's supposed to be he's one of the best martial artists in the world. Yeah.
And he doesn't go. I mean, we talked about this last year when we went on a riff about Iron Fist, but I mean, it made me kind of make him more watchable. But I mean, he still made stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Like, I am the immortal Iron Fist, and going into this giant building surrounded by enemies. This is not going to end well for me. Yeah, and just falling.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dumb.
I mean, I don't know. And then just using a building to destroy it, and it's I don't know. It just did not work. It did not work. I like Colleen Wing a lot better than in this series than I did.
Yeah, I
in
thought
Iron Fist.
they. Well, I didn't know her much because I didn't watch.
I didn't finish it. I just basically played catch up when I watched.
But she seemed more likable in this
Yeah,
one.
Yes, she did.
Yep. Colleen Wing was the one likable thing about the Iron Fist show for me personally.
Oh yeah, but she was handled. I think she was handled better in this.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like she was sidelined a lot, and like, I mean, it called for that because it was like, okay, we want to see the 4 defenders. We don't necessarily want to see the 4 defenders. Oh, and Colleen Wing. Now, God, I don't know how I want to address this. First off, I think you're all wrong, and you should punish yourself for that.
For what part?
Okay, so.
You absolutely love it, or
I enjoyed it very much. So of all the Netflix series, I feel like on like a consistent basis, on like an episode to episode basis, it's probably my third favorite of the series. Okay, so what it goes for me, I think it goes Jessica Jones season 1, Daredevil season 1, Daredevil season 2, Defenders, Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
okay, yeah, okay.
I think it's definitely like it's really solid. I like the way that the team comes together. I like that they're so compact and that their personalities clash in a lot of ways. On the note of like character development, I would argue that a lot of like these team scenarios, the character development is how they form the team. Like, it's not necessarily about how they grow as individuals, because that's not the point of like a team. Like, you look at Avengers and like there's very minimal character development in Avengers.
Like you see like Hulk in the second Avengers, that the whole development with Tony and his. That was
minuscule. That was like 5 minutes is what that was, and essentially what it was just
that in Defenders.
What are you talking about?
Not really. I mean,
there's
a little bit with Matt getting over Electro, which I said I liked.
What are you talking about? There's Jessica Jones coming out of her shell a lot in this series by
I did like
finding
that. I did like her getting out of her shell.
There's Luke Cage sort of forming a camaraderie with
I thought they didn't do any enough with Jessica Jones. I thought she was more sidelined. I thought she was way more in the background than she should have been.
The one thing I will give Jessica Jones credit is she actually had like her own moments. She had more moments with herself than I think she had team moments.
I really wish they could teach Kristen Ritter how to throw a decent film punch, because she's horrible.
Well, Jessica Jones doesn't throw film punches though, you know, like
she's not a standard combatant. She has super strength to.
Yeah, I know, but they can teach someone to throw what looks like a brawler film punch, though.
But she's not a brawler either. She's a drunk.
Yeah,
I know. But
she's not a combatant. She relies on her powers. She is physically stronger than any human could be, so she doesn't have to know how to fight.
So when you see her like throw one of her punches and then a guy just flies,
I mean, I'm not an expert on this, and I'm trying to be a stuntman, but when you talk to experts and like they just say they pin out stuff and then you can see it, it's like, oh, dude, no, and you can clearly tell when it was a stunt double when it was not her.
Yeah.
I have a question, Bob, since you probably know the most about this. Who would you say is the best in fight scenes, like out of the Defenders? Who would you say is like the best?
Daredevil, definitely.
Daredevil, definitely.
Yeah. But with Daredevil, it's also easier to like make it a double.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
You can.
Do they do that for him?
I would assume that. I'm sure Charlie Cox trains as much as he can, but it's not his job to be the fighter. It's his job to be the actor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But besides being a stunt double, he has the best like reads for throwing punches and kicks and all that stuff. Like, for his reads on camera, they look real to a certain point. He does mess up a few times. There are like some sloppy like camera angles that just are used to get for face punches or stuff like that. But overall, the Daredevil character's fights are the best out of all of them. Like, and just like the guy, I mean, like Iron Fist is just sloppy because he does not look at all like
that. That was my biggest thing with like Iron Fist. This show that's supposed to be sort of like an homage, or was sold as an homage to like the old kung fu films and stuff like that. It's
someone else.
It's not even that. Like, I understand these shows have a low budget, considerably low comparing to like what they are essentially being compared to, which is the Marvel films. But there's a huge issue with when Iron Fist in particular. Like, there were these static shots of just bad fighting choreography.
There was.
Which was really disappointing. For here, there was a little bit more diversity in that, in terms of like different angles, different lighting. One of the problems that I do have with the show, though, that I think everybody will agree, it does feel like a small show. Like, I mean, not that I'm necessarily expecting Avengers level type of stakes or anything like that, but the sets were small. They all looked sort of like very samey, very cheap. A lot of it looked like it was brought over from like Iron Fist.
That's what the Defenders is. It still felt very low stakes.
I didn't feel like there was like a lot of gravitas to where they were, what they were doing, until like honestly, until they got to the Dragon Bones at the end, which actually I thought was kind of a cool twist. The Dragon Bones.
The Dragon Bones. It was a little bit more of Kung Lung.
Yeah.
We deserve a Kung Lung.
Yeah.
But I liked that was the Dragon Bones were. I mean, it was pretty much a clue whenever Finn Jones introduces himself. I am the immortal Iron Fist. Immortal, that means something.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch, because we are starting to run a little over. I just did want to touch on like the characterization and the interaction between the characters. I thought each of the main players did come into play. I thought each of them did really well. It's nothing really new or out of the norm, but they did what sort of I wanted to do, which is exactly what I wanted the Avengers to do originally. Like be those characters, but interact with all these different like cartoons essentially. Everyone's sort of an exaggeration in a certain degree. I thought Elektra, especially when she was on her own, what's her name, Elodie Young, I thought she was fantastic, especially that one I'm thinking of the one particular episode. I think it was episode 6 when she went to go to Matt's apartment and just sort of relive those memories. And she just like, she says nothing, but she goes into the bed and she just sort of falls asleep. And it's a great moment, and it's a lot of those moments where it's like, okay, so this sort of trend in Netflix shows, this has been 3 years at least, so it's definitely not something like 5 years, 6 years in the making when it comes to Avengers, but it's there's history there, because you spent a lot of time with these characters, even if it hasn't been that long that they've been around.
Her moments like that, they were great.
I liked Matt's interactions with Foggy and Karen. I thought those were solid. I liked
like ever since like the end of Daredevil, I'm like, okay, now what? Like that one really left me like hanging on the.
I like how Foggy didn't come out completely.
Yeah. Which I thought was smart. I thought that was what was going to happen, but I'm glad to see that there's some sort of like, and Foggy, at the end of the day, he's still sort of trying to like say like, hey, look, this isn't something you need to feel like you need to do. You shouldn't feel like you have to do this. I thought Simone Misak, I think is the actress's name, who plays Misty Knight. Thought she was fantastic.
I'm a Misty fan.
Big things in her future with the bionic arm that is probably happening in season 2 of
teaser photo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh my God, that's dope.
She
has a bionic arm in the comics.
I got it.
Vibranium.
So I mean, the side characters, it was great to see him again. I feel like the Jessica Jones side characters didn't necessarily get the same level of attention, which I sort of understand why, because like Jessica Jones herself doesn't focus on them too much at the end of the day, whereas all the other characters are intrinsically related to each. The one thing I think I will end off on, and if everybody else is okay with ending up on, I knew it probably wasn't going to happen, but man, was it a bummer that Punisher didn't show up,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I knew it wasn't going to happen, but like, it was still a little bit of me. It was like thinking,
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love what John Bernthal is doing with him for Punisher. I can't wait for the season.
2 months.
Oh man, is there
Really?
like?
Yeah, it's gonna be a miniseries of like 4 episodes, maybe 5 episodes or something like that, or maybe even 3 episodes. It might just be.
I would have taken like an 8th episode.
I don't want to keep us dragging on, but 8 episodes did fit Defenders perfectly.
Yeah, 8 episodes was solid.
I don't think they should do 13 anymore whatsoever.
I don't think they should either. It makes it so I can finish everything in one day realistically too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was our discussion on Defenders. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Nerds of UVM. If you liked what we talked about here, consider leaving a like down below, commenting, subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you want to keep up with what us nerds are doing, you can follow us at UVMtv Nerds on Instagram and Twitter. Does anybody else want to plug anything?
If you have any suggestions for future episodes, as always, hit us up on social media, send out in the comments, feel free to send anything our way, we're happy to talk about whatever.
Right on. And with all that said, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us once again. I've been David.
I've been Luke.
I've been Noah.
I've been Bob.
And this has been UVM's... No, it's not... That's the old... I was about to say the old episode show. This has been Nerds of UVM. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, live long and prosper.
Stay classy, guys.
Defenders assemble. That's how it goes, right?
No.
Defenders,
They
do
don't
what you
get-
want. We'll meet up when there's a crisis.
That's what the Avengers. But that's what the Avengers do.